Did you know? Your Zimbabwean surname is less than 150 years old, and your ancestors identified themselves by their totem, not the surname you use today. Well, this week in Zimbabwean history and culture, we explore how surnames were never the true marker of identity and how totems shaped who people were long before colonialism. First, we look at the history of totems. Before the introduction of surnames and national identity cards, Zimbabwean communities used a different system to define who they were and how they were related to one another. That system was the system of totems, commonly known in Shona-speaking communities as mutupo. The totem can be understood as a marker of descent, as it connects an individual to a group of people who share common ancestors. Shona people thus used animals and animal parts as totems because animals were widely known and easily remembered across generations. Animals also represented qualities that communities valued, including strength, fertility, endurance, intelligence, amongst others. And over time, these animals became associated with particular lineages and histories. Common Zimbabwean totems include soko, which is the monkey, mofu, the eland, nzou, the elephant, hungwe, the fish eagle, gumbo, the leg, amongst others. Totems were supported by strict rules. A person was not allowed to eat their totem animal or to mock it or treat it with disrespect. In addition, totems regulated marriages. In a time where there were no written family trees, birth certificates, and genetic tests, totems were used to define relationships. If two people shared the same totem, they were considered to be related, even if they came from different villages. Marriage between people of the same totem was forbidden because it was regarded as incest. Totems also influenced daily life. Leadership was usually inherited through family lines recognized by totem affiliation, while land was allocated through kinship networks and disputes were resolved through identifying how the parties were related through totems. As such, the rules regarding totems helped in the conservation of animals, the protection of genetic health, and in the promotion of social-political cohesion in pre-colonial Shona societies. Enter colonialism. Modern Zimbabwean surnames developed largely as a result of colonial administration. When the colonial state introduced systems of taxation, land registration, labor, and schooling, it required people to have stable, repeatable names that were also unique and that could be written in official records. As there were not so many totems, they found that there was so much repetition in names. This created the need for permanent surnames that could be passed from father to child and used consistently across documents. One major source of surnames were lineage names. Many families adopted the name of a known ancestor as a fixed family name. Over time, what was once a personal name became a surname. For instance, the name of a grandfather could be turned into a permanent family identity for his descendants. In this way, some surnames today preserve fragments of older lineage history, even though the totem remained the deeper marker of kinship. Another source of surnames were praise names and descriptive names. Some families adopted names that described behavior and reputation. These could reflect bravery, occupation, personality, and hardship, amongst others, and over time, these descriptive names were frozen into surnames, even though their original meanings were no longer actively remembered. Christian mission schools also played a significant role in shaping surnames. When people were baptized, registered at school, or recorded in church books, missionaries required fixed names. Some African names were simplified, shortened, or changed in spelling to fit English or European writing systems. In some cases, African surnames were entirely replaced with biblical or European names, creating families whose official surnames no longer reflected their ancestral lineage or totem. Colonial administrators further reinforced surnames through labor systems. Workers on farms and mines were registered under fixed names to control movement and wages, and once a name appeared in official records, it became difficult to change. In some cases, too, surnames were influenced by place names. Families adopted names linked to their area or geographical feature. Other surnames, too, were influenced by colonial misunderstandings where officials recorded African names incorrectly or assigned names on temporary or misheard words. Over time, these processes produced the wide variety of Zimbabwean surnames that exist today. Some are deeply rooted in lineage history, and others still reflect colonial systems of record keeping and control. What they share is that they are relatively recent compared to totems that existed long before written administration. But totems still matter. They remind people that identity is not only individual, but collective. They show that belonging is based on ancestry and shared history, and they also demonstrate that pre-colonial Zimbabwean societies developed sophisticated systems regulating kinship and social order way before colonialism. Now, as we close off, you probably know your surname, of course, but do you know who first carried it in your family and why that name replaced your totem? Please let me know in the comments below. And while at it, please also like, share, subscribe, and check out all the other videos on this channel. Till next week, and goodbye.